Well, it's 8:20 on a big Monday in Kansas City. Of course, getting set for Super Bowl 59 against the Eagles, rematch of Super Bowl 57. We are 9 minutes away from the markets opening up, and it's looking like it's going to be an ugly day on Wall Street. Dow futures are off 300 points. That's not the worst of it. That's less than 1%. S&P futures off 2%. The NASDAQ is off 3.5%. At least on the futures. And that's probably where it's going to open up here in about 9 minutes or so. So all the big tech companies are just getting crushed in this pre-trading hour because of China's DeepSeek. So this is a Chinese startup that has sparked concerns over competitiveness in AI and America's lead in the sector, triggering what is a global sell-off right now. It's the number one app in the App Store right now. It's basically, I guess, supposed to be a better and free version of ChatGPT. There's a lot here that I'm just kind of reading about this morning and learning about in real time. What exactly it means. It feels like an overreaction to me, just based on the early reports of what I'm seeing here. But it could end up being a pretty turbulent day and potentially a week here in the markets with all that happening and taking place right now. So not trying to sour what is an exciting Monday morning here on KCMO Talk Radio, but man, just keep an eye on that, and we will as well on KCMO Talk Radio. In the meantime, last night, I know if you were at the game, you obviously had a fantastic time. My ears are still ringing. If you were home, you got to see our man Gerald Wilson sing the national anthem. And it wasn't all that long ago that major TV networks weren't even playing the national anthem. They bailed on it. It was, Kaepernick kneeling. They didn't want to have to be involved with that. Then it was, 2020, social justice nonsense. Maybe people don't want the anthem. Maybe it triggers some people. Maybe, we shouldn't air the national anthem. Well, we are back now where we are supposed to be. Whether they like it or not, sports executives realize that sports fans lean right. They're more likely to be conservative than liberal, especially NFL fans. And outside of the super woke-a-doke jokes, people love watching a celebration of their country. And there are a few scenes better than the national anthem being sung at Arrowhead Stadium before an AFC championship game. And that's exactly what we got last night with Gerald Wilson. And you wonder if these sports leagues are starting to wise up. You've seen this a lot lately, and you see more of it. I still get some of you that text in and you're like, the NFL's woke. I'm never watching again. Well, I think the NFL made some mistakes. Not as bad as the NBA. But, I still see those goofy slogans in the end zone. End racism, love is love. It's like, the racist really saw that sign in the back of the end zone and said, you know what? It's time for me to stop being a racist. That's definitely what the racist thought when he saw that end racism sign in the back of the NFL end zones. Said nobody ever. Yeah, there's all that nonsense. There is. But when you look at the NFL player and the football player in general, the football player is largely right of center, if not conservative. Listen to Patrick Mahomes last night in the CBS postgame. Who did he thank right out of the gates?
We knew it would come down to the wire. How do you even describe this opportunity at hand?
First off, I want to give all glory to God. Without him, none of this is possible, and I truly mean that. And I'm just so proud of my teammates, man, how they responded. That was a great football team, and I'm just lost for words. I'm excited for New Orleans.
All the glory to God. You heard this, too, last week during the College Football Playoff National Championship game. Both quarterbacks express their faith on the national stage. In fact, when the Notre Dame quarterback scored the first touchdown of the game, he pointed to his wristband, and I forget what it had on there. Do you remember that, Mark? Do you remember what the Notre Dame quarterback had on his wristband?
think it was a Bible verse, but I'd have to look.
It was, yeah, I just wonder if you remember which verse off the top of your head. That's all right. I thought you would have had it written down. Come on, son of a pastor, what are you doing here? Let's go. But yes, he had a Bible verse written down on his wristband, and then he flashed it to the camera right after he scored a touchdown. Both quarterbacks in their postgame talked about their faith. Yeah, the NFL made some mistakes, but by and large, the football player, when you stack them up with all the other professional sports leagues, is largely going to be the player on average who has the most faith and is going to be the player who is most likely to share that faith when given a microphone.
Matthew 23:12. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted.
Matthew 23:12?
Yep.
And that was from the Notre Dame quarterback, right?
Riley Leonard, yep.
Well done. Thanks for looking that up on the fly. Great job. So I look at it and I say, we should be cheering on these players in the NFL. Not turning our backs because, well, the NFL, Kaepernick, and that was 10 years ago. Colin Kaepernick, I don't even know what he's doing, but good riddance. Not around. These guys right now, some of the biggest stars, they're wearing their faith on their sleeve. And that should be celebrated. And with that, we'll leave you with Generald Wilson, who just crushed the national anthem last night at Arrowhead Stadium. And you watched this on CBS if you weren't at the game.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the heartbreak?
Generald Wilson, no one does it better. Arrowhead Stadium yesterday. Chiefs going to another Super Bowl.